who are pipasus, they are hungry to experience. They say just hearing will not do for me. Somebody who has a hunger, let's say the husband comes home hungry. He says, I'm really hungry. The wife says, let me get the cookbook out. This is how the samosa is made and this is how the kachari is made. He says, what? Yeah, let me also tell you how the rasgulla and dokla are made. He says, are you crazy? I am hungry. You're giving me a cookbook? Make it and then my hunger will be satiated. Similarly, just to hear will not do. He wants to experience. So that pipasu then goes to the third stage of the journey, which is bhajana kriya. He now engages in bhajan, or the practical devotion. He engages in the practice of devotion. So this bhajana kriya, now most of you have reached that stage that you are doing bhajana kriya. You heard the lecture, you started coming for the satsang, and you started doing the practice of devotion. So this bhajana kriya, or the practice of devotion, could be done in any way. The idea is to take the mind to God. That's the most important thing. Now if you don't take the mind to God, then what you are doing is just a ritual, a formality. Whether you are doing the puja, you are doing the path, you are doing the japa, you are doing the kirtan, whatever you are doing, if you are not taking the mind to God, it's no good. Because the mind is the cause of bondage, the mind is the cause of liberation. Jahan man, wahan hum. One lady went to Ram Krishna Paramahans. She said, and now in my old age I wish to reside in the holy place of Brindavan. Ram Krishna Paramahans said, it will not do. Your mind is attached to your son in Kolkata. You will live in Vrindavan and think of your son in Kolkata. It's better that you live in Kolkata and think of Vrindavan. So the mind has to be taken to God. You can take it through any way. One disciple asked his Guruji that, how will I attain God? Guruji said, start running. Think that God is running with me. He said, Guruji, can I not do sadhana while standing? He said, yes, stand. Think that God is standing in front of me. Guruji, is it possible to attain Him while sitting? Of course, sit down and think He is sitting in my heart. And well, somehow or the other you take the mind to Him. Now whether you do it through puja, through path, anything. But two things are very helpful through the experience of all the saints. And they have emphasized these two as the powerful ways. One is chanting. Now when you start chanting, naturally you start thinking about what you are chanting. It's a natural process. So when you are chanting Pyaro Lage Nandalala, you will naturally think of Sri Krishna. And along with that, hearing. So the hearing benefits that if the mind has got distracted, the hearing brings it back. So the chanting and the hearing. So, and with the mind remembering. So these three things become a set. Kirtan, Shravan and Smaran. So these three are then very powerful form of sadhana. That is what we do as a primary practice in our satsang. We engage in kirtan, we hear, and with the mind we remember. That's called kirtan, shravan and smaran. That is the message of all the bhakti saints. They have all engaged in this process of kirtan. And that is the message of the Bhagavatam. When Parikshit told Shukadev, I have got only 7 days in which to attain welfare. Tell me the most powerful means. Shukadev, he asked, Yat shrotavyam achojapyam yat kartavyam nribhih prabho smartavyam bhajaniyam va bruhi yadva viparyayam. What should I do? So Shukadeva answered, Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavyaha Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichchata Bhayam. Parikshit, you do these three things. Chant the glories of God. Hear them and with the mind remember them. So that is simple, powerful and effective. They are all the God realized saints have written their bhajans. You sing the bhajans that you like, that move you, and you think of them. So this process of bhajana kriya, when we engage in, this starts watering the seed of devotion that we got through satsang. Now when you put water on it, slowly the sapling starts growing. So this then takes us to the fourth stage of sadhana. So are you keeping track? The first one is Shraddha, and the second one is satsang, and the third one is bhajana kriya, and the fourth one is anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti means now the unwanted things in the heart, the anarthas, they start getting cleansed. In other words, the heart starts getting purified. Anger, greed, envy, illusion, hatred, all these things, they start getting washed away from the heart as a result of proper bhajana kriya. How will you remove these defects? They will not go merely by willpower. You need spiritual power. So when you engage in devotion, the mind goes to God. Let us say the mind has got 20% attached to God. That means it has got 20% detached from the world. That means 20% spiritual power you have gathered. If there is a 20% cause for anger, you will not feel angry. You increase your attachment to 50%, your mind is 50% detached from the world. There are two areas, one is God, one is the world. You increase attachment there, it will result in detachment from here. Now you attach it 100%, it will get 100% detached. Then no matter what the cause, you will not become angry. So the real way of curing the diseases of the mind is by increasing your attachment to God. There is no other way. If you read the writings of the famous philosophers in the West in the last century, Jean-Paul Sartre, he committed suicide. Arthur Koestler, he committed suicide. Ernest Hemingway, he committed suicide. Albert Camus, he committed suicide. Ayn Rand went mad. Friedrich Nietzsche went mad. So in other words, without taking recourse to God, the mind will not come under control. And when you start moving in the direction of God, you have the proper basis. So now as we are going on the journey, the natural consequence is that the heart is getting cleansed. At this stage, you need to be careful. Just like when you plant a sapling in your garden, you take great care when it is small. No deer should come and graze it off. It should receive sufficient sunlight but not so much that it dries up. I should keep watering it but not so much that it drowns in the water. Similarly, that plant of devotion that has started growing in your heart, you keep watering it with bhajan. And you protect it from worldly influence. If you are not careful, the worldly creepers, they will grow faster than the plant of devotion and they will choke it. Like there was once a person in India, he was making rope out of grass. They make rope out of grass in the villages. He was blind. So he was making his earning from that ropes he would make. Now he did not know there was a buffalo standing behind and it was nicely munching away all that he was making. After he had made for 1 hour, he thought, let me take a look how much I have made. He checked it out. 2 yards. Where is the rest? The buffalo has eaten it up. Similarly, if we are not careful, then after the satsang, the kusang of the world will eat away the sadhu. Now you have spiritualized your mind, you have come to the satsang and you are filled with inspiring thoughts and with devotion. And then you go back home, you say what to do to pass the time, let me switch on this movie, no this channel, this channel, this channel, this channel. Within 20 minutes, your mind is back to where it had started from. So it is important that you protect that plant of devotion. So you have to beware of kusang. What is kusang? The opposite of satsang. Satsang takes your mind to God. Kusang is that association that takes the mind to the world. So the careful gardener of the plant of devotion is tending to that plant carefully, watering it, protecting it. Then as you continue the journey through anartha nivritti, it will keep getting cleansed, but when it is sufficiently cleansed, then the next stage will come.